So this is a video which was requested by a viewer on my Twitch channel. An updated version of my last video on the OBS Classic walkthrough on which settings that I prefer using, and an explanation of what has which function. I'm gonna show you a bot that I prefer using as well, which was Ankbot before in time, which was brought by Streamlabs, so which today is the Streamlabs chatbot. And I'm gonna show you the Twitch test sample as well, to show you, or to give you an idea of what server you might want to choose to have the lowest MS response time. And I'm gonna take you through all of it and put down the links in the description as well. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you think there's something missing, or if you disagree with something as well, don't be afraid to give it a thumbs down or write in the comments below as well. So yeah, just let's get to it. We got OBS here, which is the Studio Edition. As you can see, I got a lot of scenes over here already that I'm currently using when I'm playing different games. And I got some sources in here as well. I do apologize that it's in Danish. We'll change that in a matter of seconds so that I make sure that everybody knows what's going on here. What's gonna happen here is that when you use OBS, you can use it for many things. There we go, English. What you can do with OBS is that you often use it to either record stuff, or you want to use it to go live on specific websites like YouTube gaming, Twitch, Facebook as well. There is a lot of opportunities, but I'll take you through all of it. So if we go up in Files and click, and you go into the Settings tab, you can see we got a lot of settings or options in the left side here: General, Stream, Output, Audio, Video, Hotkeys, and Advanced. Under General, you can choose the language, which, yeah, we just had to change for the time being. You can change the theme as well, which is gonna make OBS has some other colors. Automatically check for updates. I would highly suggest you have that on. Anything else, really, let it be as it is, to be honest. The only thing that you might want to consider changing, depending on your overlay, which we'll go through as well, is maybe the snap function. The snap function means that when you got something, if we go into another overlay here, right? And I wanna, let's see, I wanna move my bit bus, right? You'll notice that it snaps to my sponsor video here, as you can see. You can adjust like how aggressive the snap is, and you can remove it, like the whole function as well, just by doing this. Under projects, it says what it does. Really, there's not a big thingy about it, to be honest, really. Hide cursor over projects, like I don't need to have these on, and I don't like save projects. I would assume, I haven't used it though, but I would assume a project would be like a little recording. And system tray, I got that enabled so that I know that it's currently running, that I'm using OBS. And that's pretty much it for the general section. When it comes to streaming, tab over here, we got the stream type, and you got the streaming service, which gives you the offer to choose different services, which is all the different types of platforms that you can stream to. In this case, I'm using Twitch. There's YouTube Gaming, Mixer, Smashcast, and you name it, all the way down. Facebook Live as well. And you could choose whatever, like whatever platform, I'm sorry, that you're currently using. I'm using Twitch, so you can tell it to show all services as well, but again, it's a preference. When it comes to the server, we can use this one here, and I'm gonna put a link in the description for this. This is the website where you download it from, but I'll put it in the description so that you guys can just click it and download it if you want to use it. This is what you get when you download the file and you start it, and you get this. What you do is that you put in your stream key to your stream, wherever you, in this case here it's only for Twitch. You can choose what servers you want to test it on, take them off. I usually want to go for the Europe one. You can tell it to do automatic with OBS. That's what I prefer. Because it's gonna take the settings that you currently got in your OBS, and I would usually set it to 50 seconds to 1 minute. I think it's a bit overkill unless you really want to go all out. You could put it to 5 minutes, and you just hit start, and you just let it run, and it's gonna tell you the stats. There's not a big to it really, and you just choose whatever this tells you is the best one suited for you. So let's say it in here, it says that the server Stockholm, which is the one that I'm using, with the bandwidth that you chose through your OBS, gives you the best RTT, and the quality is, let's say, 100%. You know that. You go into OBS, choose the server, EU, Stockholm, and you press apply. I'm gonna minimize that. And in here, you put in the stream key. And that's pretty much it when it comes to the stream tab. There's not a lot to it there either. Go to the output section though. That's another deal. Because as you can see, most of the current streamers on Twitch use the X265 or 64, which is your CPU. I prefer using the NVIC, which is going through my graphics card, and I'm gonna tell you why and what is good for what settings. Now that I got the NVIC enabled, first let's go through that. The NVIC is through the graphics card, the GPU. I'm using a GTX 1080 Strix edition from Republic of Gamers, Asus, and a long story short, Twitch enabled people to have a higher bitrate while not being partnered. So a non-partnered person can upload all the way up to 6,500, or maybe it's not only 6,000, I'm not sure, but that's the maximum amount of bitrate that a non-partnered person can upload to Twitch. And NVIC, in my personal opinion and my experience, gives you the best quality if you can go above 4,500. This does have some downsides, or it can have some downsides to it as well. When you go on, like, if you have 4,500 upload from you, the person who wants to watch your stream at the best quality possible needs to have a download on 4,500. So this can limit your viewer base a lot. If people use stuff like cell phones, tablets, you name it, you can potentially lose some viewers because it'll maybe keep buffering the buffering circle that they can't view it, or it maybe even just says that, yeah, you just can't watch it because, yeah, we can't follow. So but again, that's what I prefer, because I prefer using my CPU for other stuff while I'm streaming, so I don't want to risk overloading it. And while I'm using my NVIC and the NVIC, which is the GPU, when using the 1080, I don't feel like losing a lot of FPS in my games either. I'm normally, it says 3300 here, but that's 4,500. I was testing some stuff recently, so we can just hit apply here fast, so I don't forget it. So because I think below 4,500, the quality of what the NVIC encoding option, like the quality is not good enough. So everything below 4,500 bitrate wise, I would prefer using the CPU, and for 4.5K, let's put it like that instead, maybe be a bit easier to understand. I would suggest that you use the GPU, but again, it depends on your system. It depends on what hardware you're using. Let's say that you got a Ryze something, a massive CPU, but you got like a 970 GeForce 970, right, or something like it's still a good graphics card, but it's not like one of the best, right, or not compared to what games there might be on the market. So that would be a way to get like put more focus on the other encoding option. So but when it comes to the NVIC though, I would say 4.5 would be it. That's just fine. You don't have to go above. You can do it, but you don't. I prefer not to do it myself. When it comes to the keyframe interval, I would always set it to 2, but that's because I'm streaming on Twitch. That's the recommended setting, or that's the guideline. You have to put it on keyframe 2, or with an interval on 2. When it comes to the preset, I prefer just running on the default setting, because I've been trying everything out, and I don't see any increase in either quality or latency when I choose the others. And I noticed that having the default setting made it not overwork itself, and I didn't lose anything, and I personally didn't notice a big difference between the different presets you could choose from. So I prefer just using the default setting. When it comes to the profile, I would 100% go for the main setting, which is kind of recommended as well when it comes to Twitch. You can go for high, but when you go for high, you like people who use tablets and mobile phones or cell phones can't watch your stream, and it has something to do with the way that it works. I can't personally go into more details about it because I don't know like specific how it works. I just know that when you're using the settings or the profile called high, I know that mobile phones and tablets and other stuff can watch the stream, they can read it. But I do know though that, or at least I've had the feeling that the quality of the stream does increase a bit. But you kinda go towards only PC viewers, like PC or viewers who's only using the computer to watch streams. So I would totally recommend going for the main in this case. When it comes to the level though, I would also just go for auto, just let it be as it is. Really, there's nothing to it, just let it be. Always use, if you have the setting enabled, use the 2-pass encoding, which will increase the way that the GPU works, and it'll give you better quality as well. It allows the GPU to work better. When it comes to the GPU down here though, it has something to do, and the same goes with B-frames. It's about the quality as well. It's about how much it's allowed to like how aggressive you want it to work. You can increase it. I think the default for this is 5, I think, and it goes from 1 to 10. I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure that's how it is. But I'm 100% that the first time that I tried it, it suggested that I used like 5 B-frames, and I read about it on the website, and it told me that the lower it is, the more sharpness there'll be on the picture. And I was trying my way down to make sure that my GPU didn't overwork itself, and while doing so, I noticed that you can go all the way down to 0. I'm pretty sure you can go all the way down to 0, but I noticed that while I didn't want to make my GPU do too much work, I didn't want it to heat up. Still wanted to have a decent amount of frames in my own games as well. I noticed that having it on 1 with a 1080 works perfectly fine. I got about, depending on what game I play, I would say a very high MMORPG game. I would have approximately between 140 and all the way up to 180. Let's say World of Warcraft, for instance. And if you're going to something like League of Legends, I'll have between 220 and maybe all the way up to 300 FPS while having this on the B-frame set to 1. And the quality is very good. It's full HD. Like there is no drops in the quality nowhere. Not even if you stress it, like move the mouse quickly. But that's the preference that I have. You might have to tweak the settings a bit if you got a bit lower rig, like let's say a 970 from Nvidia. You might have to maybe lower it, or even consider using the CPU. If we decide to go for the 264, which is the CPU, you'll see that some of the options disappear. I would suggest when you use the CPU, I would say go for between 2500, or you can actually say 2200 and all the way up to 3.5 depending on how much you want to upload. When it comes to and it's a bit tricky because I can't do the math 100% in like I'm not good at head math, but I do know that the lower you put the preset on your CPU, let me go into details about this first. The faster it works, the less time you give the CPU to handle the information that it gets. So if you have it on ultra fast, the presets are very fast. But if you have it on, let's say, just very fast, you kind of give the CPU some information and it kind of just spits it out again. And it doesn't have a lot of time to do like the calculations the best way possible. I do know that it's not a calculation, kind of, or I guess it is because it's numbers, but pictures is not being able to, let's say, render the pictures or the video that it gets to its fullest potential. So, but the slower it is, the more time you give it, it can, in some cases, I've seen it, not everywhere, but in some cases I've seen it increase the delay on the streams as well. We don't talk about a minute or half a minute. We talk about maybe 2 seconds or something like that. It's not that big of a biggie. But again, this all depends on how strong your CPU are. The more cores you got, the more efficient it is as well. Like as when I said that if you had like the new Ryze, AMD from Ryze, right? Or yeah, and you had like a decent but not one of the best graphic cards, I would prefer using these settings, right? When it comes to the key interval, this is exactly the same. Twitch is always keyframe 2. That's the main, like it's not an option. You have to do it to have the best or option to fill out the recommendations that Twitch gives you to have a good stream. Profile wise, you can set it to none, but again, I would prefer setting it to main just to make sure that everything is running good and perfect, and you don't want to go for either baseline or high. As I told you before, it's the same thing when it comes to the CPU encoding and the GPU encoding. This does not, like this, the profile doesn't change. So I would totally go for a main. When it comes to tune, this is all about like film, gain, animation. Like I would prefer just having it on none, really. I haven't played around with it, but as you can see, it has like film and gain and stuff, and I have an idea that it's gonna put some stuff onto the current stream or recording that you're currently running. When it comes to the options down here, separated by space, this is if you have some codes that you want it to run on a different way than it does through OBS. I'm not using it, and I have never used it, so you have to search on the internet to find a solution to that if you want to play around with it. But that would be my setup when it comes to the 264 encoding setup, which is the CPU. I would, in my case, if I want to use the CPU, I would probably set it to medium or slow. I've got a very strong i7, so I would probably set it to medium or slow. I do prefer using the GPU now that Twitch increased the bitrate limit. Oh yeah, and one thing that we forgot to talk about was the rate control. I would always go for CBR, which is constant bitrate. And this means that the bitrate doesn't go like in waves, it's constant all the time. And if you have it on like a bouncing scale, you can risk getting like it could end up buffering on the viewer's side, and it could be weird for your gaming experience as well. If you don't have like a really good internet or whatever, if you're just gaming and all of a sudden you get like 200 ping, like what? And you'd be like, what the hell is happening? And then maybe it's because the OBS is eating a lot of data or whatever. So I would always go for constant bitrate, which is CBR, and choose to be between 2200 and all the way up to 3300. I would recommend using the low bitrate 2200, between 22 and 2500 for stuff like League of Legends, RTS games in general. When it comes to playing stuff like, or streaming, recording, or not recording, that's another topic, sorry. When it comes to live streaming, if you play something like World of Warcraft or something, I would definitely go for maybe 3300 or maybe even above. The more bitrate you give it, and the more power you give the CPU, or the lower you set the preset, the more time and the more quality is being put into the picture, or into the film, which is being produced by the PC and will be sent to Twitch. Also have in mind that the higher you put, or the lower, I'm sorry, the lower you go with the preset, which means that this is working more, you can decrease the bitrate as well. You don't have to put this on slow and just say, I want to go for 4000. You can do it, but at a specific point, you won't get it a better quality anyway, at a specific point. So doing it like this, I would prefer, like, if I got on medium, I would probably set this to maybe 1800. Because the higher the bitrate is, the more you tell, like, the more you request from the viewers who want to watch your content. So when people watch it, if I run it with these settings, these were my old settings before I got to 1080. Everybody could watch it, even those who had, like, not that good internet. Even when they used a cell phone, tablet, PC, whatever you name it, everybody could be on with 1800 approximately. The phones and the network today in general is very good, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. But that's something you can keep in mind, that just because you lower this to give the CPU, like you want to give the CPU more work, you can lower this, and I would absolutely take that into consideration. Like 1800, between 1800 and 2200 is not that big of an issue, to be honest. But if you want to go for, like, let's say you normally go for this because you're using, let's say, ultra fast, or maybe very fast, or let's say 3300 or 3500. I'm sorry. This would be suitable if you don't want to overload the CPU. While using these settings, you can test them out slowly yourself as well. When you're using OBS, if the CPU starts to get too much work, so while it's processing it's working with the gaming material that you're, like, let's say you want to play CSGO or League of Legends, it requires some usage from the CPU and the RAM and everything else, right? And you wanna put out some live content as well at the same time. Live streaming like requires some really good hardware as well, at least if you want to do it with a decent quality. So and let's say that you're having issues, people maybe say in the chat, hey, you know what, this is not working, or this is buffering, why can't I watch it, or something. Try notice down here in the bottom, you'll notice that there is some sections called lost frames, or lost frames, or maybe even down here in the corner it'll say that it's being, like, it's overworking, and it'll have like a little icon as well. That indicates that your CPU is being, like, there is too much data for it to handle at the same time. So look at it as like you're in a line and you want to buy your groceries, and the one who's sitting behind the counter tries to get all the stuff through, but there is just too much, and people start yelling, can you open one more counter? And you start asking, can somebody else come around? Maybe you're the only one at work, so no. And people, it's like more and more people start, like, the line grows, right? That's kind of the same thing here. All the data which is being sent to the CPU starts growing, and it can't handle it, and that's why the warning comes, because it can't calculate all the stuff fast enough. So, but this should hopefully only happen if you're, like, on medium or lower, because if it does so when you're running on ultra fast, I would from straight out just say don't live stream, or not don't, but If you don't got the power for it, it's gonna be very hard. But in this case though, if we look at the bright side, if you had a really good graphics card but a very low CPU, you could do the other settings around, change this to be the encoding, and you have the CPU space for the games and what you're running on your system as well in the background. And that's what I'm doing, because I want to make 100% sure that my system doesn't suffer, but I don't want to lose any gaming quality either myself, so everybody's happy. When it comes to recording though, I'm not doing a lot of recording myself, and you can see that through my YouTube videos as well. There's not a lot of videos, but because I prefer doing live content on Twitch. But this is the settings that I'm currently using right now when I'm recording this video. But again, yeah, I gotta say that I know that the bitrate when you're recording can go even higher, and I would recommend it putting, I think the last video or tutorial guideline kind of a thing that I saw even went all the way up to 25k when it comes to the bitrate. But that was with gaming content in the background to make sure that you didn't lose any quality when it comes to that. But again, I would just set it as like I was live streaming and just increase the bitrate to approximately 10k and above. So, well, that's pretty much it when it comes to the output. When we go through the audio though, you have the sample rate. I just put it on the 44. To be honest, I should have put it on 24 kilohertz because that's what my mic is running on. Yeah, to be honest, I actually thought that it was on there, but again, it all depends on your system. If you use 44 kilohertz or 44.1 kilohertz, you put it here, which is the standard, and if you use the other setting, you change it. That's pretty much it, but they need to match to give you the best product, the best video, the best sound. When it comes to channel, I guess that's a preference, but I like serial. I guess that's a preference. But when it comes to all these settings down here, this is what you see here. If I just move this just a tiny bit, you can see down here, the mic, AUX is my mic. This is my microphone. So this is down here though. As you can see here, mic and aux audio device. And desktop audio is going to be it's going to be in Danish because my system is Danish. I do apologize, but it's speakers, Realtek high definition audio, which is these right now running through my keyboard. Normally I do use SteelSeries wireless headphones, but they're charging right now. Sad face. So feels bad, man. But what you can do though, what I wanted to tell you guys was that you can add more if you want to. As you can see, I got a lot of audio devices. I got my Sony TV, which is the one on the wall. I got my speakers in my audio codec, which is my mixer. I do have the Realtek digital output, which is going to be my my Sennheiser headset. I got the normal speakers, which is these, in case this one over here runs out of juice. And I got the 270, which is my current gaming screen. And if I want to add more, I can just click it and I can press apply, and it's gonna put it down here in this section here. You might have to restart OBS before you can do it. Be aware of that. And the same goes for the microphones as well. If you got more mics, I can click in here. You can see I got a webcam as well. I can click it and it'll start using that as well. So I got double mic. You can't see down here because I haven't enabled it yet. But if, like, let's say that you wanna use this for live streaming, right? And I had an issue once where I had to buy a mod mic to my headset, and I used that for the Sennheiser as well before I got the SM7B here. And I changed it so that I had one microphone for the live audience and then another microphone for my communication software. I used TeamSpeak back then. I'm using Discord today, but still, because I used a doubled PC setup back then. I don't do that today though, but I was used to having a double rig setup because I was testing out some different stuff, and I found out that was a good efficient way for me to make this run around with Voicemeeter Banana and other stuff. So but that's pretty much it. When it comes to all this down here, you can set it to push to talk, and you can put an MS on if that's what you prefer. But I would not recommend playing with these unless you have, like, every time I go live, I always do a recording session which is between 5 and 10 seconds, just to make sure that everything is running as I want it to. Like, I want everything to be crisp and nice. So, and if you like hear the mouth is opening up, but the sound is coming like 2 seconds after, or 1 second, or half a second delayed, you can go in here and tweak a bit. You can do it another in another place as well, but I'm going to show you that. Video. Okay. When I'm gaming, or I'm sorry, when I'm live streaming to Twitch, I use full HD. And I do go down sample rate all the way up. For getting the sharpest picture possible, and I do go with 60 FPS. I would like to go higher, but I can't. Not that it's needed, because like it's a bit overkill, but yeah. I just want I wanted to try different stuff out to see how much my system can handle. I know I can handle 20, or what is it? Is it 2110p? I think it is. I'm not sure. No, 4010p, I think. Whatever. Just right below and right above full HD, and right below 4K, I think it is. Like the one in between, you know what I mean. I don't remember the exact number. But as you can see here, you can change, and this is the base. This is your screen resolution, and the output is here as well. If you can't run the full HD settings. Let's say that you want, like, let's say that you're in the stream section here, and you're using the the CPU, and let's say that on very fast you're having issues. But under the video section here, you're going full HD. One thing you can do before tweaking with a lot of stuff is that you can reduce it, you can downscale it. A lot of people do that all the way down to 720p, which is this one, which is 1280 times 720. It doesn't have any effect on your gaming rig or your setup, your screen, your gaming experience. What it does is that instead of the ones who watches your content will do it in full HD, they'll watch it in 720 instead. That's the only difference. And it'll put the load which is being put onto your CPU or a GPU will be reduced dramatically, really. When it comes to downscale, I would always go for the 32 samples. Somebody use 16 and some even don't use it. I guess that's a preference, but I'm gonna use 32. It's gonna give me the best picture possible. Reducing the FPS as well will reduce the stress you put on your system as well, the load. So if you can, let's say that this setup here still stresses out your system because you maybe have a low rig, but you still want to play around with streaming on Twitch. One thing that you can do as well is reduce this to 30 instead of using 60. I think the common or the recommended stuff, or the default settings, I'm sorry, for OBS Studio when you get it, is 30. But let's say that you were like, I want to just go all out, I just want to give it a try, you put it on 60 and everything is like, you could do this and just reduce to 30, and it's gonna stress the system less. You'll have way less load onto your system, and it may help you out as well. So hotkeys, I think that's very useful. I'm using a Elgato Stream Deck for my hotkeys. I would recommend, like, if you really want to get into this, like being a good, or not a good, a content creator, and you have a lot of scene swapping. As you can see, I got a lot of scenes. I would totally recommend getting an Elgato Stream Deck. It's an awesome tool, really. I love it. I would never, like, before I got an Elgato, I used my F keys, but there was an issue. Sometimes, depending on the game, there would either be, it would take a screen picture, it maybe opened up a menu, maybe it created a toolbox or whatever, depending on my game, maybe even had a secret hotkey to something else. And that annoyed me so much. I got frustrated and I was annoyed, and I was like, I gotta find a solution to this, because this is really annoying. And I started using the num keys instead, my numpad, and it was okay, but it was still not, it was not good. And then I was watching somebody, I don't recall the name of him on Twitch, but I watched his video and I got the Elgato, and that was like, oh my god, I gotta get it. And now I got it, and it's like, if you really want to get into live streaming, and you know through time that, let me just say first, if you're new at this, do not, and I can't stress this enough, do not go out there, buy expensive microphones, lamps, green screen, stream decks, whatever. Do not don't do it. Don't. Because you maybe get tired of it within like next 2 months or 3 months, and everything is maybe like, that's maybe just a big waste, and maybe you can't get the same money back as you brought it, or for the same cost that you paid for it. So it's like, it's a big waste. So don't do it. I think the Stream Deck, I think that's about $150. I think in Denmark it's about 1,200. I think that's what I paid for it approximately. So, but if you don't have it, you can go in here and put up whatever hotkeys you want. I did that in the beginning. You just click somewhere, put in the hotkey. Let's say I want to use H. I put H in here, and you just click apply. It's gonna tell you, when you click this, it tells you to show, and you can make another one down here, say that's J, and it's gonna hide. What you can do as well, you can use the same one as well. So what happens here is that when you click, let's say that you show it from the beginning, and you wanna hide it at some point. Let's say that I want to hide myself, right? I could press H on the webcam setting if we find it. Here, show webcam. You can see here what scene it is. I'm working under player unknown battleground, which is the one over here. So if I scroll down and I find the webcam, oh, it's up here. There we go. Sorry. And I press H here, and I press H again. If I go to the webcam and I apply this, you'll notice that I disappear and I come back. That's one way to do it. I prefer not having two different keys for the same thing. So, and if you can even have more. When I was doing tournaments as well, I'm shoutcasting League of Legends. If I'm the one running the setup when I'm casting, or I have a casting session running, I used to have a lot of hotkeys on my numpad as well before I got the Elgato Stream Deck, and I had everything to show and disappear on the same key. So let's say that I wanted to swap something. So let's say that these two here, you could add it to as many things as you like. There is no limit to it. If you want to put numpad 1 to everything in here, you can do it. It doesn't, you can do it. Just hit apply. That's it. When it comes to advanced, I've seen a lot of people do this, and I gotta be honest, I don't get the reason why, but some people start playing around with the process priority setting up here in the general tab. I have never had an issue with this. It's always been on normal. I've seen a lot of videos where people say like, oh, just go on high or above or below or idle. Like, let it be. Really? Just let it be. I'm not saying that everybody else saying anything else is wrong, but it doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe if you have a low rig system, I don't know, but don't play with it. That's just my advice. Rendering, just let it be as it is. When it comes to color format, I would just let it be at the NVIC as well. Colors, put it at the 6.1 if you have it. Particles, put it, to be honest, I would actually put this on full, really. That's one thing. I would not use particle. I think I would use full, to be honest. Because I know that I use that under my streaming settings when it comes to my NVIC card. Audio, just use it at default. You can choose something else, but I prefer using it at default because from time to time I decide to, let's say I don't want to use these, right? I want to use the Sennheiser. I can just put it in here, to put it at default. So if I change it on the PC, right click it, set, or not that one, I'm going to be able to choose anything in here. So if I want to choose something else, I'm just going to use it at standard. And it's just going to, like, when I open up OBS, it's just going to put that in as like an automatic default option, right? And that's very easy and nice to use. Recording, you can give it a default name if that's what you want to. Override if file exists, if you have another one. Stream delay, I prefer not having a delay. Unless I'm playing some competitive stuff like a tournament, or maybe if I'm casting something, I could be lured into using a stream delay. Do be aware though that, as it says here, estimated memory usage is gonna increase. The more time you give it, the more it increases. It's not a lot, but it does increase depending on the amount that you want to put in there. And that's pretty much it. When it comes to the network, don't play with it. I haven't touched it yet, but I would assume that it's for something like if you got a server somewhere that you want to connect it to or something. But I do, like, I haven't touched it. But I do know that you can like tell it to use something else. But I haven't played around with it, so automatically reconnect, enable it, tell it how many times. It doesn't matter how many times. I would just recommend using 10 times. This affects that if your stream goes offline or OBS disconnects. There could be multiple reasons for that. It could be the servers, it could be your connection, it could be anything. And I want to set it to that the retry delay is 10 seconds, and then I want to give it 20 times to try, see if it can reconnect. And if it can't, it's going to stop, and I have to find a way to fix whatever issue might occur for me to drop my connection to the stream or to whatever content or platform that I'm currently trying to create some content on. Okay, so that's a lot. When it comes to OBS itself, you can see we have a lot of stuff here. We got a scene over here, or we got scenes, we got sources, we got the mixer, which is all the audio. We have some scene transactions or transitions, I'm sorry, which you can change. You can add some, and the duration when it comes to the time it takes getting from one scene to another, like how long time it's gonna take the animation, how much time you want to give it. And we got this studio mode as well. So let's take it from scratch. If we want to create a scene, we can call it something. We can just call it YouTube OBS video, right? And it'll give us a black scene. There's nothing here because everything which is being shown in here is under the source section. So if we want to add something, we can right click it, or you can press the plus button down here. But I prefer right clicking, it's faster. And if you hover over add, you get some options: audio, input, output, browser source, color source, and you name it, so on, so on, so on. I need to adjust my brain just a bit, because when normally I'm streaming in English, but my setup is still in Danish to make it easier for myself, because it's like people don't see my side of, like, my point of view, right? So but I would let's say images, right? You want to have a background image. Maybe you have something already in a folder somewhere. But what you can do is that you can click add, and it's gonna tell you this, right? And you can create browse, and it's gonna take you here, and you can click to the folder that you currently have your pictures in. What I'm gonna do is that I'm just gonna delete that fast. Hover at, go under images. I got a lot of images here which is being used for whatever reason in my other scenes, so I want to go for a background. So I got this background here, which you can see I got on my desktop as well, which is my background for my stream. I'm gonna lock it. This is a lock function, but I'll show you just a tiny bit more about that in depth. There's not a lot to it, but I'll show you. I can't add a video capture source because I'm currently using the webcam in the other OBS. So what we'll do is that I wanna let's add I don't know if I can do this though, but let me give this a try. I want to capture a window. Oh yeah, okay. Let me say something first. If you wanna either live stream or record, I would always recommend going for the game capture. When you use the display capture, it puts more stress onto the PC because it's recording differently. So I would always use the display capture if I want to capture a game. If the game capture can't capture the game, I've seen that a couple of times. Even when it comes to League of Legends, I don't have the issue anymore, but some might still have it. Then I would consider going for the display capture, but that's gonna put some more stress onto the OBS, which is gonna put more stress and load onto the system as well, which can result in frames lost and so on. So, but yeah, we could do game capture. Let's see, there is a few games in here. I got Factorial, Hearthstone, League, Path of Exile, Stream Avatars. That's something else that I was playing around with. There are Billions and World of Warships. So you just click the game in here if you already have it. If you don't, you can go up here, call it whatever you want. Let's call it Pokemon, Pokemon, and you can click enter or OK. You'll get this window. In this window, you got a lot of options. First of all, you can just let it capture anything you have in full screen. That's one way to do it. I do prefer clicking it, capture a specific window, and in this tab, you'll see the game name. You have to have the game open first. You have to open the game up first before it's going to disappear, or before it's going to appear on this list. But that's one thing. And when you scroll down here, you can tell it different things when it comes to like capture cursor. When I'm let's say you wanna practice shoutcasting. That's what I did in the beginning. I would disable capture cursor, because when you're casting something, you don't want people to see the cursor flying around on the map. If you're trying to hover over something, maybe if you don't remember the name or whatever, something, right? You don't want people to see it. So that's what I do. But when I'm playing a game, if I'm live streaming a game where I'm participating in the game, I would always have this on and just let it be as it is, really, and just click OK, and you'll see it disappears here, or appears on the source list. When it comes to the sources, the ones which are above is being the most dominant. In other words, let's say that I had a Pokemon game open right now, and it's in full screen. The background picture would not be seen. It would be like this, or it wouldn't disappear because the eye, like when you click the eye, you hide it. You don't have to do that. But if the Pokemon game here was in 1080, right? It's above the background, so that would fill it all out. But if you close the game, let's say that you want to play something else, you close the game, it's gonna disappear from the OBS. When it disappears from the OBS, it'll be like if you did that. I know that there's nothing to show, but still. And the background picture would appear up again, because it's behind the game. I think that's one way for you guys to do it. If you don't have an overlay or something and you just want to put in a background picture, that's one way to do it. So when you're done playing the game that you're playing and you maybe want to switch game, or you want to say, hey, goodbye guys, take care, I'm done for today, or whatever, you might have reasons to close the game, it'll still have a nice clean image in the background. I do know that some people asked about some stuff when it came to adding chat and stuff to their overlays. I'll get more into that as well. It's going to be a long video, but I'm going to get more into that as well. You can put image slideshows as well. It's going to be the same thing as images. You can just click it. You can call it whatever, test, and you'll get this window up here. You can put in the settings here, which is the time interval between the images. If you have two images, the higher the number, the more time that first and the next picture is being shown. The lower it is, the faster it goes through the images, and that's pretty much it. Down here, you put in the image folder, you just click the plus section, add folder or directory. It's totally up to you how you want to do it. And when it comes to scenes, you can do that as well. If you want to add something else specific into this, I haven't played around with it because I never had the needs, but maybe I do. I don't know because I haven't tested it yet. But that's an option as well. When it comes to text, you can add it. As you can see here, I got a lot of text. This is most of them from this and down. That's tournament oriented stuff, so that's something else. But when it comes to like recent subs and starting text, mod text, whatever you name it, this is stuff which is being created by my system, and I'll get more into details about that as well, how you can get this. As you can see here, there's somebody called Applejack. I was live yesterday and he donated 40 bucks to me, and he decided to become a sub as well. So I want this. There we go. Recent, no, that's not recent D. Recent sub, there we go. Don't mind that it says in-game lobby, random games. The reason why I got 3 of them is because the main scenes that I use is my 3 overlays or 3 scenes for League of Legends, and I got my PlayerUnknown Battleground, which is actually not PlayerUnknown Battleground, which is just a bunch of random stuff that I use on that specific scene. So don't think about it, but I like having everything for each specific scene. So, and I'll tell you why as well. So as you can see here, there's a sub as well. This is the latest sub as well, and you get these ones up here on the stream. But I'll get more into detail as well about how you add these. So a few minutes ago, I talked to you about the little lock function down here. As you can see here, I can't drag anything. I can't double click. I'm clicking the hell out of my mouse. I can't catch anything. I can't move anything. It's because the lock is on. If I take the lock off, it'll say recent sub. I can pull it. I can't pull anything else. So, and that's one good way to make sure that if you need to change something while being live or while recording or whatever you might be doing, you'll make sure that this is the only thing that you currently touch. The reason why I think that's a good idea is that let me see if I can find it. Which one is it? Overlay alert? Okay. I got this box here, right? Which I'm using for when I'm playing stuff like strategy games, RTS games, stuff like that. Which is not League related. You can take this and you can move it up here and say, okay, I want it in here. As you can see, as I talked to you guys about before, the one in the top down here, like those who's above are like the dominant ones. So for me to make sure that I can see these, I need to put this one here, which is the picture, right? I want this to go underneath these, so that's in the back. But I don't want it to be on the back of the background picture, right? Of the background, because then it's all like it's gone. So I want to do it like that. So, and let's say that Applejack, he's up here, right? Normally, or not normally, but in this case, right? And this is the latest sub, so we'll put him here. Approximately. Yeah, we want them to be inside the boxes, right? But as you can see, that's way out of the picture. Like that's, yeah. What you can do is that you can hold down Alt and you left click on one of these small ones here, and you can drag it. When you drag it, it's gonna start somewhere else. And I think that's pretty beneficial if you're not into creating this a new source for every single scene that I'm doing. This one here does not fit the one that I got up here, right? It fits the lobby, which in this case is this one here, as you can see. So, but go down here again. So, but that's one way to do it. When you have these, let me remove these for a sec. Let's try and make it from the bottom, okay? We want to add a text into this box, and we want it to be a, let's say a recent donation. Yeah, okay, let's go for a recent donation, okay? We want to right click, press add, and you can click down here as well. It's the same thing. And we want to go into text, click it once, and we call it whatever you want, what fits you. But I'm just call it YouTube guide recent D. I use like small single letters words for everything because I got so much, or I used to have even more than you've seen so far. So you get this one here up, this window. In this window, you can change anything when it comes to the font that you're currently working on. So in other words, you have a lot of settings down here in the bottom as well, but I'll go through all of it. So currently it's using the font Arial. You can change that by selecting select font. You can click it and you get up a window. If you have any custom fonts as well installed on your PC, you can find them in here as well. But you have, like, let's say you have OBS open, you install the font, you have to restart OBS, and then you can find it in the font selection as well. You can change the font style, and you can change the size, strike out, and underlined as well. And when it comes to writing system, you can change it to anything down here as well. But let's say that we want it to be, yeah, 36 is fine. We want to use Oriole. We can change that. Let me scroll down a bit. I prefer using the sports one here. And I want it to be bold. I don't want normal, I want it bold. Okay? Okay. So to test if this works font-wise, I can type stuff and you'll notice it types up in the top section here of my OBS. What you can do as well, if you want to make it into an automatic text, is that if you use a system, and I'm going to show you this as well, but if you use a system like Stream Elements, Streamlabs, GatherBot, whatever system you might use for recording followers, hosts, donations, subs, whatever you might have, you can choose to read from file. And it'll notice that the box changes from text into text file UTF-8. What you can do is that you can click browse, and I don't even remember where I got mine. So let me see if I can find it here quickly. Oh, you know what? Let me do it, and let me do something else here. I don't remember where I got it. Let me recent D. Where is it? I'm just gonna copy paste this. It's a bit easier, I know. It's kind of a cheaty way. So, but oh, I can't put. Oh, okay. I learned something new, boys. I can't copy paste it into this. So I need to remember the path, which is going to be users, Juztie documents, gather labels, user Juztie documents. Okay. Okay. So we need to go get into that specific folder because that's where I got all my stuff. I'm just going to drag it over here just in case I got something which I prefer not using or showing. So Juztie documents, gather label. Okay, there we go. So as you can see here, I'm using multiple systems, and I'll explain to you why as well. Because I'm using Streamlabs, I'm using Stream Elements, and I'm using GatherBot at the same time. But I'm getting more into that. So as you can see here, I installed the gather labels. You can do that as well when it comes to Streamlabs and Stream Elements. There's no difference. You just choose a folder, and when you got the software downloaded, you get a folder with this. I'm going to show you that as well. So, and what we wanted was the recent donation. So we can find it down here, and we say monthly, no, most recent, yes. So there is a few options here. Most recent donations, donator, or donation. So, and I want the most recent donation. So I'm gonna double tap that, and you'll notice that somebody pops up here, because what it does here is that it's reading from the file. And when somebody's donating or following, this includes for every single option that you got in the label folder, it updates it automatically if you got the software running in the background. Otherwise, it does not update. It's the software that does it. So, and you'll notice that, oh, a guy showed up here, right? So, what we want to do here is that we want this to be scrolling, and it's very long as well. So, but what we can do in here before we go to that section is that if you want to have the opacity set down, let's say you want to focus more on the main game, but you still want to show people the name of the person who decided to support you in whatever way, it doesn't matter. You can change the opacity here as well, so it's almost becoming invisible. You can select the color as well, the gradient, background opacity as well if you want to give it a background, and anything else. But I prefer not doing that though. I prefer it just as it is here. Though we did want to change the font, so let's scroll down here, find the font, set it to bold. We want it to be at 36 when it comes to the font. You'll notice it looks like this. And I'm gonna click OK. So we got this here now. What we want to do this, we want it to fit into this box here, right? When I look at this, I can be like, and that's why I have multiple texts for every single source. As you can see, this one does not fit. It doesn't look good. It's very big compared to all the other fonts, right? When it comes to the image. So what I can do now is that I can right click it, or you can just double tap it down here. It's up to you. You can go into select font and reduce the size. Click OK, and you'll notice, hey, it got smaller. And you can see, okay, this feeds my needs, right? So this is what I want. I want it to be this size. I think that's fine. And but how do I get it to scroll? I want the scroll function. How do I do that? Okay. So first of all, you can right click this and you could go into properties, which is the same settings as double tapping. But what we want to do here is that we want to add a filter to it. Filters are, if we click here, is all the settings that you see below. Apply alert, chroma key, color correction, color key, pad, you name it, all the way down. And we want it to scroll. So we click the scroll function. You can call it whatever you want. I prefer the preset name because it's a scroll function, right? So as you can see here, we got two taps we can draw in, or whatever you want to call them. We can adjust the speed vertically and horizontal, limit the width and limit the height. And this is why I got multiple texts or multiple images for every single overlay, because I made it so that not every single overlay are the exact same. Maybe they look different, maybe there is some other size to it, and so on. And I think it's easier for or at least for myself, to do it this way. So what you can do is that we want it to scroll. You can drag it the way that you want, and notice on OBS over here that it starts reacting, and you can see it up here in the preview window as well. And you could do it horizontal as well, so that it goes the other way around, if that's what you want. It's totally up to you. But let's say we wanted to roll, and we wanted to roll with 25. I think that's the speed that I usually use myself as well. But as I showed you before, you can hold down Alt, and you can drag it, right? That's one way to do it, or you can limit the width. As you can see over here now, the width, like the box, is minor, but you can change it. So let's say that I know, I don't remember the size precisely. Let's say 400, no, that's too big. 300, not too big. 20, no, 300. Oh, almost 290. We are about to be there, maybe 295. Let's just say it's 295. And you just click close. You'll notice that has the same size, whatever you do, which is very nice. I think it's very nice, instead of dragging all the time. And now that we got that in here, we of course we can adjust it to make it fit exactly, but it's a minor detail. It's something that we can do when we're done, when we're like, that's the finishing touch, kind of, right? So, but we don't want to be able to, like, wow, drag it away. We want to make sure that this one stays in place all the time. So what we do here is that we want to lock it. When we lock it, we make sure that nothing can happen to it, even if we put something new onto our scene, on our source selection, or on our, yeah. So, but that's one way to do it, and you can do this to anything you got, as long as the label system that you're using offers that specific one. But they're pretty similar, all of them, in the end, anyway. So, when it comes to scene swapping, you'll notice that mine has some kind of a fade to it, right? And when we got a fade, it's because I chose it over here. You could take cut as well, and you'll notice it just slam. It just shows up instantly. Bam. I don't like that. I like the fade option. It's a bit more chill, and it's not like it doesn't pop into your eyes. But you can change that as well. There is more than 2 options. You can click at the little plus over here, and you'll notice that you get some options here as well. There's swipe, slide, stinger, fade to color, or luma wipe. And you can choose whatever, and you get a big list of different sorts of options that it can use. Let's say we want to use cloud, softness, it's fine, whatever. You can play around with it, and you'll see that it changed from fade to luma wipe. And if I change here, you'll see how it goes in another way. It's gonna be like a cloud, like, right. But it's a transition that you can choose after your like what you prefer. When it comes to the studio mode, though, you get multiple windows. This option makes it able for you, or if you're, maybe let's say that you're a team of people creating some content that needs to go out to a specific audience on Twitch, YouTube, whatever. Let's say that you're shoutcasting. and you need to edit some stuff before the viewer sees what's gonna happen. So this is one way to do it. So when this is the window that people see. Notice that when I remove it, we could do this full screen, might be easier for you to notice. This is how the windows would look at the beginning. This would be a copy of this, or this is actually a copy of this. And you'll notice that we got the text up here. See what happens when I decide to remove the text here. Notice that it does not disappear from the other window. The reason is that this window on the right is what the audience see, and this is what you're currently editing on. And you can do that without anybody noticing. So, if you're creating some content, let's say that you're running a competition, and Team A gets 1 point and Team B gets 0 points. You can do this. So let's say that you got this running and you want to add something to it, or you maybe already got something. Let's just make a test here, just quickly. Tournament score A. This is for League of Legends, but let me give you an example. And you'll notice text, and we'll go in here and say team score B. There we go. Right? And you'll notice it says 2. Let me do this quickly. There we go. Okay. So as you can see here, we got A and B. B has 2 points now, and this is what the live audience see. But Team A just scored. They just got a point in whatever game you might be playing or watching. And you can just click OK. And you'll notice that it changes. And you just do the transaction, and it'll add it to the other folder. Or the file, I'm sorry. So, and if they need to disappear, you'll notice that these are not gone either. You can still edit it. See? It's still going to be edited, but it's still not shown. This is still the live. Remember that the right section, the right window is live, and the left one is like what you're currently editing on. So if I do transition now, you'll notice that these 2 numbers disappear. Right? They fade away because I use fade. And that's one way to kind of create maybe some more professional stuff, I think, when it comes to creating some live content on a platform, or just in recording and anything else, unless you have something else in mind. But that's pretty much it so far when it comes to OBS. Oh yeah, one thing. When it comes to the scenes, you can add filters to those as well. And you can just click the plus, and you can add whatever you want. And the same goes for every single source as well. It doesn't matter what it is. And no, I can't really show you with the camera, otherwise it's gonna loop with the OBS. But I can add it though. Let me video capture webcam. You'll notice that I'm not showing up here though, because I'm in the other OBS. But you can right click it. Let's say that you got a green screen that you want to use. You can click that, right click the webcam, use filters, and you'll get this window. You'll notice that I got my chroma key here, Nøgle. I don't know why that's in Danish though, even though we changed it, but whatever. You'll get the option to choose custom, green, blue, magenta, and you can just make it fit the likings that, or to whatever fits your current setup. And you could just drag around and play with these. There is no magical pill for these settings. This is optional. It depends on your lights. It depends on the color of the green screen. Is it very bright? Is it dark? Whatever you name it. Opacity as well. So that's something that you have to play around with when it comes to the green screen settings though. But the similarity is like the rough color that it's playing around with. When it comes to the softness, it's more about the edges of the green screen effect. I don't think I'm gonna, if I pull this, no, it's not gonna have any effect on the other OBS, no. So but play around with it and make it fit your liking. If there's anything you feel that I missed, please say so in the description, or in the comment section if there's anything when it comes to the OBS walkthrough. The only thing that I can take you through here, which is the last one, is that you can add multiple profiles if you're streaming on multiple channels. I got my own, I got the Ops gaming community. If I had a setup or some settings that I created for Facebook streaming, you can create that as well, and you can just tap between them, and it'll be easy for you to just say that, okay, today it's Monday, I want to be streaming on on Twitch, and today it's Wednesday, or on all Wednesdays I'm going to be streaming on Facebook Live, and you just create a Facebook Live in here, and you just click it, and it's going to take you to the Facebook Live settings that you created in here as well. And the same goes for the scene collection. If you've got multiple scene collections, let's say that I got, and that's something that I should have done, I got my tournament stuff here. I could have created one of these, just say new scene collection, and call it tournament. And all these would have been put into a tournament section instead, so that they don't fill up here when I'm being live, when I'm doing my own content, my private content. And you just hit new, and you just call it whatever, and it's gonna pop up down here, and you can swap between the names. So if I wanted to rename that, which we could do, call it Twitch. Oh, whoops, got caps on. Juztie. Twitch, right? Just to call it something. We could add, or click OK, and you'll notice it changes here. I could make another one here and call it Ops Gaming, because I'm streaming from Ops as well from time to time. I got it here. Notice that all my stuff here disappeared. All of it is gone. All my settings is gone. You can duplicate your current one and just delete the stuff. Oh yeah, well, you know what? Let's do that. We can remove the one that we got here, and it'll take us to the old one, hopefully. Oh yeah, there we go. Right, and we want to duplicate that, so I'm going to duplicate it, call the other one Tournaments. I don't know if that's spelled correctly, but I hope so. And we'll notice that we're on tournaments now. And we got this one here, which is my private setup, right? So, but I want to go into tournament because that's only going to be for tournaments. So as you can see in the OBS here, we got a lot of settings. So I'm going to delete all these. And I'm going to delete all these here as well, because we don't need them. And now I only got these. So this is only for a recording session. When I want to do shoutcasting for tournaments or whatever you want to. Yeah. And we could just click the other profile collection up here, and you'll notice that this here changes. And I could actually just delete all this now, because I don't need it. And it'll give you a lot more space, and it's gonna give you an easier way to, like, your overview of your setup for whatever you want to be doing. It's gonna be easier. If there's anything specific or something that I maybe forgot to go through, feel free to let me know, and I'll make sure to recap it as well. Because the only thing, like the last thing I can tell you, is that you can choose to do the audio configuration wizard. Just click it and just go through it. I'm not gonna click it because I got my settings the way that I want them, but you can just click it, and it's gonna tell you the first time you install OBS as well that, do you want to run this? Do it, see what it tells you, would maybe suit your system, and tweak it a bit maybe. And that's pretty much gonna be it. So to round this off, this is a long video. To round this off, I want to show you guys some stuff when it comes to different systems. As you can see, I got the Streamlabs chatbot running, so that I can show it to you guys. That's what I'm currently using. It's the old Angbot. I used the Angbot before. It gives you the option to create a bot account, which you moderate, and you make the system here log into that specific account, which in my case is called JustBot. And as you can see, I got GatherBot in there as well, and I got Stream Elements in there as well. I'm using all three systems at once, but I'm only using Streamlabs right now because I think they brought Angbot, I suppose, or that would be my guess. It's an amazing system they created, and it's absolutely amazing. It got everything you need, really. And even if you're, let's say that you're not interested in being affiliated, partnered, whatever, but you just want to use, let's say GameWisp, you can use that as well in here. And you can even give people their own icons in this. People can't see it in chat though, but you can, so that you'll know who's a GameWisp sub and who's not. And you can still make it pop up on the screen as well, on your stream or on your content, whatever you're creating, live or recording, while doing this as well. So, and you can just tap through it, do whatever. This is what I streamed the last time, Factorio, and just go through the settings, call it whatever you want, and you can just say refresh to get your last settings, and you can just type whatever in here and press the upload button, and it'll upload your settings or your title and community and game all at once, and it's up on Twitch. When it comes to subs, you can upgrade the tile, and you can do whatever if you have your own. GameWisp doesn't matter. Commands, you got different commands in here as well, and you can make into time commands, quotes, giveaway system as well. Very handy, very nice to use. It's got its own currency system that you can enable if that's what you want, which can have let's say that you get, in my case I'm using J-coins. It's not through this system here though, I'm using it through my GatherBot system. But if you get X amount through a currency, you can become, like, let's say I'm using the league rank, so it's like your bronze, silver, gold, and so on. And you can set it so that people get a rank to the amount of hours they watched, or to a specific amount of coins or currency, whatever you want to call it, points they got as well. And when you do a giveaway, you can make it so that it's join permissions. It could be anything, even GameWisp subscriptions, as I told you before. You can put the price in, the command they need, ticket costs, max tickets per person, how much it's gonna cost. Just press the open giveaway. It's gonna be announced in the chat with the name that you created on your bot, and everything is just gonna roam from that, and you just click pick a winner. Song request as well is added in here as well, and you can do anything with it. You can show videos, you can hide the videos. There's a settings tab up here which you can put in. In my case, subs is the only ones who's going to be able to song request. Moderators is able to skip, vote for veto, and so on, so on, so on. Show videos and whatever you name it. Change the song request command as well to song request SR or both. I might actually want to have both. The quality of the video depends on many things. It could be stuff like, if you want to show the video, you want to have a nice quality on the video, of course, but it's gonna put more load on your system as well. I do know that videos on YouTube, depending on what resolution they are, requires a lot more bitrate, but I just use it on medium because, yeah, I don't know, it works out, and it's not that heavy to my system anyway. So you can put SFX sounds into here as well, which you can bind to keys and everything. You got a cue. It can be for anything as well. It kind of depends on what you want to use it for. You got a counter. I've never used it before, so I do not know how this works. So feel free to play around with it. You got the currency as well. As you can see in here, people get an amount of currency and points, but that's not what I use, so that's why it's all just on-ranked all the way, and it doesn't matter what they got of hours and points, because I'm not using this for it. Minigames is offered as well, highest duel, free fall, you name it, all the way down. There's polls as well, betting, events, mod tools, notifications, Discord as well, where you can add it so that when you go live, it's gonna announce it. And which I think is very handy. If you have a community on a Discord server, you can tell it to go in there. When it comes to stuff like connections, which you'll get if you decide to install it, you can add the Twitch bot, you can add yourself, Discord, GameWisp, Streamlabs, if that's what you use. Extra Live, I have no idea what that is, but I think it has something to do with the BitBoss. I have no clue. Spotify login as well, Cloud, and OBS Remote. I have never played around with the Cloud either, or OBS Remote, so I have no idea what that offers. But that's pretty much it. All this in here is pretty self-explanatory, so you just go through it, and it's gonna tell you whatever you need to know. In case there's something that you are like, let's say that there's something that you don't know anything about, you can click up here in the top section, there's a question mark, click it, and you just hit whatever you need to get some help with, and it's gonna either open a website or open a guide on your PC in a PFD file. So that's a very fast walkthrough, but you can do anything with this. I think it's the most awesome bot there is on the market, and I'm excited to see what Streamlabs can do with it after they obviously bought it, I suppose, from what was the Ank bot into what they now call the Streamlabs chatbot. So what I want to show you as the last thing here, guys, is that we've seen this already, and I'm going to put a link to it in the description. We talked about it earlier in the video. Is that I want to show you this. Okay, so I got these two, and I used them for specific things. When it comes to when it comes to creating some content, I'm very viewer orientated. I like a lot of communication with people. I love playing games as well on a high level, but I put a lot of energy to my chat. I want to make sure that they are entertained in any way possible. And GatherBot is in a beta mode right now. You can sign up for it as well if you want to, but I got accepted. And what it offers is just one humongous RPG system. I can't go through it all at once. There is way too much. There's way too much to go through. But there is a rumble system when it comes to viewer games. People can put a bounty on your head. Let's say that somebody tells you to, I want you to do 10 push-ups, and they donate $2, whatever, right? You can do like accept, refuse, cancel, or something like that. And you accept it, you do the push-ups, you get the donation, and it's being counted in as a, like, you get the money. You can reject it or something, and people get the money refunded because you don't want to do it. It's like a challenge. There's free tips as well. This does not include in every country. I know that in US, or a lot of places in the US can do this. And it can even result in giving away free subs as well. There's the gather tip section, it's like an overview. Gather bots, it's like more the command oriented section. Bid boss is, as most of you mostly know, I assume, is the bid boss that, like, people become the boss because they either killed the recent one, or they donated or subscribed or whatever. The settings that you choose will unlock the bid boss spot, or damage the one that's currently the bid boss. There's quests as well, which is stuff that sometimes shows up. I can't use it, sadly, because I'm not in the US. I live in Denmark, so I'm pretty limited. It's a bit sad, but yeah. So as you can see here, there's a quest discounts towards people who's live streaming, or not only, it could be, I guess that could be recording as well, but that wouldn't make any sense though. But whatever. So as you can see here, $20 for free tips and subs, right? So for a month of January, you're active, gather sponsorship program, and receive 20 events from your fans. It will add an additional $20 to your free tips wallet. So what this does is that when you fill this out, if people use this, they give you, as the content creator, this money. That's amazing. And there is even more to it, but this system is that there is so much. Sign up for it. It's an amazing bot, and the system and the staff behind this is very friendly. But that's what I'm using this for, to have a lot of or to be able to make my chat, like, let's say that I want to do some competitive gaming or something. I'm gonna be very focused. Let's say League of Legends. I want to put some time into maybe getting some elo. I want to grind. I want to get into a higher ranking. Then I'm very focused into my game, and I want to make sure that people are still having fun in the chat and be able to interact and do adventures, events, and all that. And that's what the GatherBot system offers me in this case. So I got the stream labs for the bot system. I use GatherBot here, as you can see in the background, for the kind of more entertainment orientated part of the chat. And then we got the last one is going to be Stream Elements. Stream Elements is, in my opinion, the absolutely best currently online software, or not software, platform there is. If you ask me, there is nothing that beats Stream Elements. Stream Elements has everything you need. They don't have a bot, which is why I'm using this. And they don't offer the same chat functions as GatherBot does. But one thing that I've been running into a lot is that if I got my OBS here running, and let's say that my PC crashes, if my if I need to reinstall my PC, whatever, I might have a reason to whatever reinstall OBS, and I'm like, oh my god, I need to redo every goddamn overlay. And maybe you got excuse my language, but a shit ton of stuff into these, right? And you're like, oh my god, I don't want to do this. This is so much. And you maybe even get the feeling, oh my god, if I have to do this again, let's see it happen twice already. You're like, oh my, I don't want to do this again. I'd rather just stop streaming then, or whatever you might, like, oh, you get frustrated. This is where Stream Elements come into the picture. Because Stream Elements still offers you the same things as all the others does when it comes to having a bot in the chat, the label system when it comes to having an overview of the donations, subs, followers, whatever you name it, coming onto a channel. That they offer this as well, as you can see over here. There's a lot of stuff you can use: a giveaway system, contest, stream store, leaderboard, loyalty, whatever you name it, all of it. But the thing that I want to point out the most is their cloud-based overlay setup. It's fantastic. There is nothing. I would never leave Stream Elements because this function is absolutely amazing. And even if you're a person who's like only to stream and you're like, I don't have any overlays, or I don't want to pay for it, or maybe I don't got the money, or I just want to try streaming but I still want to look good, no props, buddy. You know what? Stream Elements got that for you as well. They got some themed galleries in here that you can use, and they're animated and non-animated as well. And you could just choose them, preview it, or create it and just use it. And it's gonna add anything to it. You just have to do some minor tweaks, and I'll show you in a second. You just choose whatever you want, and you just click go. So, and you got the super themes. These are the animated themes, which, let's say that it's snow. So instead of it's just a static picture, the snow actually falls on screen. It does take a lot more on your system, but if you got the power for it, why not go for it? So, and you got the normal themes up here as well, which you just click, and you can see like a preview window of all the settings, or the pictures, the scenes. Even includes panels, some of them, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but at least the overlays are there. And it's all of them we're talking about. As you can see, we're going to hit create, and it's going to tell you, no, you know what? Let me show you something else. It's better. My overlays. This is some of the scenes. It's not all of it that I use, but most of them I do. If you scroll down, you'll see here, there is some here that I was testing out in the beginning to see how like the new system was, and you'll notice there is a lot. You didn't see those in there, you only saw one picture, right? But that's because it's just a preview thingy. You can hit the preview button and it's gonna, you'll be able to swap between all the scenes, but you get a whole bundle for one specific game, right? And you can add for any game you want, or for those games they offer, of course. So in this case, this is for Rocket League. Notice that you got a be right back, stream starting soon, stream ending, and anything else. And you could do like a preview if you want to. Let me see. I want to launch this one here. I'm just gonna hit launch, and you'll notice here in a second, or in a couple of seconds, it's gonna add up, and it's gonna open the whole thing. And this is the overlay. This is the overlay that you'll get in your OBS, and it's very amazing, and that's absolutely fantastic. And I'm gonna have to scroll because I'm in the browser, but you'll notice out here in the bottom, people are being added as well. These are not the real ones, because I'm not using Stream Elements for my recording of incoming followers and all that. But what I wanted to show you fast was this section here. You can create a blank one, and this is what I mean with like cloud-based overlays. This is cloud-based as well, because you just go on to the website and just get the key, and I'll show you. Because in OBS, when you add stuff to your browser, or to OBS that's coming from the internet, like a Twitch chat, a Bitboss, an event, an alert, whatever it is, Cabogen, you'll do it through a browser source. So I want to add something to this, right? I want to get a scene. I want this to work. And as you can see, we got nothing in here. We just got a background. That's it, right? So what do we want to do here? So first of all, I just want to show you quick, like the product as it is when it's done, right? I got a bar overlay. This is added from multiple websites as well. If I got the picture on it, No, I don't have the picture on that. Okay. Let's choose another one then. Let's try this. Do I have a picture on this? Okay, no, I don't. Okay, we have to go inside and edit it. Okay, let's go in and edit it then. This is the window that you get when you're working with Stream Elements. And it's like being in OBS, as you can see here. This is my loading screen, and you'll notice that I added text here. There is alert boxes everywhere the way that I want them to, and you'll notice there's some stuff coming down here. I don't... Oh, it's all the followers. Okay, fair enough. But you'll notice all this. All of this is down here in the bottom. It's like a cross of browser, Photoshop, and OBS in kind of in one bundle, kind of. And what you just do is that you'll just add anything you want: insert text, images, video. You can put in data as well, if that's what you want. Goals, session data, whatever you name it. Widgets as well, which is let it snow, holiday shirt, media shirt. Like, there is so much, and just click add, and that's it. And you could just change some of it if that's what you want to, and that's what I wanted to show you quick. So I don't want, as you can see here, some of it is locked. You'll get like this mark thingy, and it'll tell you you can't do anything about it. But you'll notice when I click over here as well, it's gonna open up the cop, because that's what I clicked first, and it'll tell me a lot of settings. And you can just scroll down over here and say, hey, you know what, I wanna play around with this one here, and it'll tell you the name. So it's the latest tipper, so that's gonna be recent donation, I would say. And it says name, currency, amount. You can change it. That it says hello something something, and it's gonna do it. Right? You can do whatever you want, but I'm gonna enable the background image here, right? As you can see here, I prefer not having the images from, like, when you're using this, it's loading all the time. So I would prefer take or create it in here, use the image in here, disable the image, and put the image from the PC onto OBS. That's how I would do if I was you guys. So, but I got this. I want to save it. Play around with it, by the way. It's really good. You can just play launch. You get this. You can click here as well. So notice here in my OBS, I'm gonna right click, add browser source. I'm just gonna call it test. So we get this window here. You notice that it adds something here. It'll say URL. That's the website link. I'm gonna put that in because we were told that's the one. I know that my size, you'll see that, and I'll show you real quick. I put this to 10. Oh, whoops. I think, oh my god, is that right? Am I right? I think I'm right. So one thing I do want to tell you though, notice the FPS. It's very, like, you make sure that this matches the amount of FPS that you have down here as well. You can, if I move a bit here, you'll see here my OBS is set to 60. Set this to 60 as well. I think I noticed some people not do it, and it's kind of laggish. It spikes a bit. And click OK, and notice what's going to happen. Oh, whoops, something's not right here. I don't remember. Why is it that I don't remember this? God damn it. Hang on for a sec. Let me, I don't know why I can't remember. 1920, god damn it, 1920. So it's 1920. There we go, guys. There we go. Notice that I get the whole thing now. That's all I did. This is not the finished scene, because it's like, yeah, I'm not using this one here currently because I need to edit some stuff, but still, if you do it like this, you just have to put that in there, and you got the overlay like that. So if you miss it, don't worry, just put in the link, log into Stream Elements, put it in there, bam, and you're good to go again. And that was actually I think that was pretty much it that I wanted to show you guys through this system. I don't think there's anything else though. If there is anything that you miss or that you might want to have, or maybe a more depth guide or explanation about, I don't know what it should be, but if there should be anything, don't just hit me up. You can find me on Twitch. You'll find all the links for all my socials and everything in the description as well. And feel free to give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and do it a thumbs down as well if you think it's bad. But if you think there's something that you need some info about it, or if there was something that I forgot to tell you about as well, or maybe skipped without noticing, just type it in the description as well, or in the comment section as well, and I'll find somehow and a way to reach out to you guys and make sure that you get your answer. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon. See you in the Rift, and thanks for watching. Bye.